In the early 2000s, a nifty game system came out replacing the ancient Game Boy. It was called the Game Boy Advance, and I thought it was really cool because number one, full color. Obviously there had been a Game Boy Color, but I had not jumped on that bandwagon, so I was still playing the black and white and sort of green old Game Boy. Plus, the Game Boy Advance promised Super NES style portable gaming, and I loved me some Super NES, so I was all about that. Now, the launch games that came out for this system weren't necessarily the strongest group in the bunch, but they never really are for any game system, in my opinion. There was Mario 2, and then there was Castlevania Circle of the Moon. I hadn't exactly played a Castlevania game, but I was all about this one. Now, a lot of people remember this game for being oh so dark. This was not really a portable game. This was I'm going to sit in front of the lamp and play this game kind of game. But once you did that, it was awesome. This was a metroid-vania style Castlevania game in that there was a large mansion to explore, and you can get to new areas by picking up new abilities. Now, I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I definitely liked it. One of the coolest parts of the game was the mix and match card system, which gave the players certain magical abilities. There might be a certain card that brought up your ability to use a magic sword or a magic whip, or summon a shield, or summon some dude that comes around and helps you out, or just blow the crap out of the screen. All sorts of things. And there were other cards that responded to different elements, like fire and grass and stone and holiness and darkness, things like that. I don't necessarily remember being able to get all the cards all that easily, and in fact, it kind of seemed like they dropped randomly. I was pretty good about getting the fire and the grass and the sword and the whip, but it didn't necessarily seem like I could ever find some of them. I don't know if that's because I didn't know the game that well, or I don't know if it's because the game was just kind of being a jerk. But I overcame that obstacle by finding a cheat in order to use any magic ability I wanted to, and you better believe I used the crap out of it. Usually to get one very large holy sword that went about, well, this far. Considering the screen was only about this big, that's pretty far. Near the end of the game, there was just this enemy that showed up, and once you hit it with a sword or a whip, it revealed itself as, Satan. Satan was a little difficult. I'm pretty sure that teleporting jerk killed me a few times. All the enemies were really memorable, though, because they went through all the fantasy tropes that were really interesting. There was lycan everything. There was werewolves, and werebears, and were-jaguars, and were-grizzlies, and were-rats. There was were-everything. There was big, weird, floating brain blob things with big tentacles near the end of the game. There was death. You fought death in most Castlevania games, but it was always pretty cool. There was this person that appeared to be a hot chick and then turned into some weird floating brain thing. Overall, the game was a pretty fun action RPG, and one I would recommend to anyone who still rocks the Game Boy Advance.